second disciple of the evil Sky Pavilion's cultivation is terrifyingly powerful. With just one sword strike, he severely wounded a prestigious seven-leaf master. After his sword slashed down by Yuqing, the Crimson Longevity sword automatically returned to its sheath. Yu Shangrong's lips maintained a calm smile throughout, as if that sword strike was trivial to him. Ming Shirin was momentarily stunned. He wasn't sure whether to thank his second senior brother, especially since that astonishing sword strike came from his hand. Although the second senior brother did help him, he is one of the traders of the evil Sky Pavilion. Siwuya appeared quite composed, bowing slightly and saying, "Greetings, second senior brother." The disciples of Yellow Peak Mountain all showed terrified expressions and knelt down to pay respects in unison. Bai Yuqing was breathing heavily, not daring to lift her head. Yu Shangrong looked at them warmly, saying, "No need for such formalities." Hearing this, everyone sighed in relief, and they were also surprised. This demeanor didn't belong to a heinous demon, but rather to a gentle and courteous gentleman. Ming Shirin was conflicted. He didn't know whether to say thank you. Even though Yu Shangrong had helped him, a traitor is still a traitor. Could he really dare to act against him? With his master backing him, he wouldn't dare to do anything improper. Yu Shangrong, turning slightly, smiled and looked at him. "Fourth junior brother, are you hurt?" This sudden concern touched Ming Shirin deeply. "Thank you, second senior brother, for your help." Yu Shangrong's voice remained gentle. "We are brothers. No need for such formality." Ming Shirin nodded repeatedly in agreement. How could second senior brother come to Yellow Peak Mountain? Yellow Peak Mountain is remote and hard to find. He didn't think second senior brother Yu Shangrong would lower himself to search for clues everywhere like him. Yu Shangrong answered with a smile. "I and seventh junior brother had arranged to meet here earlier." Upon hearing this, Ming Shirin felt a chill run through his body, and goosebumps formed on his arms. If it was said that Bai Yuqing was intentionally brought back to prevent trouble from other masters, it could be understood. But what scheme involved prearranging for the second senior brother to deal with Bai Yuqing? He couldn't help wanting to give Siwuya a thumbs up. That was really clever. After exchanging pleasantries, Yu Shangrong then turned to Bai Yuqing and asked, "Are you Bai Yuqing, the chief of the White Tiger Hall under our eldest senior brother?" Bai Yuqing swallowed hard and knelt on one knee. "I have seen you, second sir." She had no temper, nor dared to show any. The sect leader had warned them that on the great path of the underworld sect, they would meet gods and slay gods, meet Buddhas and slay Buddhas. But there were two people they must avoid. One was the founder of the evil Sky Pavilion, and the other was Yu Shangrong. The four great protectors always kept this rule in mind, yet deep inside, the four great protectors still longed to compete with such a master. Only by truly crossing swords would one know if the rumored sword demon Yu Shangrong was indeed on par with the sect leader. If there were any doubts before, they were now completely dispelled. That sword strike just now had vividly shown the gap between them, even if it was just by a single leaf's difference. Yu Shangrong crossed his arms and smiled slightly. "You seem to enjoy using your avatar to bully the weak?" Bai Yuqing stuttered, unsure how to respond, especially since his recent move with the avatar had indeed seemed like bullying the weaker. "I was ordered by the sect leader to protect Mr. Seventh's safety. Mr. Fourth insisted on taking Mr. Seventh away, and I had no choice but to use that move. I hope you understand, second sir." Yu Shangrong then looked at Siwuya. "Seventh junior brother, is this true? Don't rush. Think it over. If you say it's not, I'll end her with one sword. I would gladly help our eldest brother rid us of those who lie and skulk in the shadows." Ming Shirin shivered upon hearing this. The second senior brother was as inscrutable as ever, seemingly mild yet profoundly unpredictable. Knowing that Bai Yuqing's fate was in his own hands, Siwuya did not hesitate to answer, "Yes." Yu Shangrong nodded slightly toward Bai Yuqing. "I'm sorry." Bai Yuqing, terrified, quickly responded, "I wouldn't dare." Yu Shangrong then turned away from Bai Yuqing and looked at Siwuya. "Seventh junior brother, since it was to protect you, then it is your fault. Fourth junior brother might seem slick, but he is deeply loyal and righteous. With his temperament, how could he endanger your life? It's only right for a brother to discipline his siblings. How can you disrespect your elder brother?" Siwuya sighed helplessly. "Second senior brother, you are right." Ming Shirin ran over excitedly. "Second senior brother really understands things. Old seventh, come back with me to see our master." Just as he finished speaking, Yu Shangrong suddenly coughed lightly. "Fourth junior brother, hear me out. Seventh junior brother is exceptionally wise and has helped me a lot over the years. Give second senior brother some face." Ming Shirin broke into a cold sweat. "As second senior brother decides." Yu Shangrong smiled faintly. "Wuya junior brother, hand over the peacock feather, apologize to your brother, and let him return with something to show for it." Siwuya was momentarily speechless, regretting that he had agreed to meet here with the second senior brother, and he also felt a hint of displeasure from the second senior brother, which could be due to the eldest brother or Bai Yuqing. Upon this realization, he hurriedly bowed. "Second senior brother speaks the truth. Fourth senior brother, I was rude just now, and I apologize to you." Ming Shirin dared not object. "Since that's the case, I won't hold it against you, especially since I never planned to take you away smoothly." Hearing this, Siwuya waved to his subordinates, and soon one of them rushed over with the peacock feather. Ming Shirin grabbed the peacock feather, marveling at it, and after examining Examining it for a moment, he smiled and spoke, "For second senior brother's sake, I'll overlook this, but don't say I didn't warn you. The path of cultivation is perilous. Without the peacock feather and without cultivation, beware lest your enemies target you." Siwuya clasped his hands together. "No need for elder brother to worry, you may leave now." Ming Shirin snorted lightly, too lazy to continue the useless talk, and with a leap, he soared into the air. "Sooner or later, you will fall into my hands." His voice faded as he disappeared from view. After he left, Siwuya bowed to Yushangrong. "Thank you, second senior brother, for helping me out." Yushangrong smiled slightly. "It's nothing big, but it seems more like you think I've caused a mess." Siwuya replied with a resigned smile. "I wouldn't dare." Yellow Peak Mountain already had Bai Yuqing's protection, but Yushangrong's sudden appearance not only hurt Bai Yuqing, but also forced Siwuya to give up his special weapon. How could he not regret it? Yushangrong, seeing but not speaking of it, turned to Bai Yuqing. "Did eldest senior brother send you here?" Bai Yuqing was panic-stricken, enduring pain as she spoke. "The sect leader specifically instructed me. I dare not disobey." Yushangrong looked at the severely injured Bai Yuqing and said, "After you return, tell the eldest senior brother that I don't care what he wants to do, and I don't want to meddle, but he shouldn't go too far." Bai Yuqing didn't dare say much. As the chief of the White Tiger Hall, she naturally knew about the discord between Yushangrong and the sect leader. Yushangrong hurting her was clearly a message to Yu Shanghai, and Bai Yuqing was just an unfortunate pawn caught in the middle. Siwuya sighed. "Miss Bai, please return now." Bai Yuqing nodded. "Take care, Mr. Seventh." Not long after, Ming Shirin flew rapidly towards the Tangzi town station near the Evil Sky Pavilion. He planned to rest briefly before returning to report. At that moment, someone looking towards the direction of Golden Court Mountain shouted, "The barrier of the Evil Sky Pavilion is weakening again. At this rate, the Evil Sky Pavilion won't last a few years." Tangzi town is not far from the Evil Sky Pavilion, but it's also not within direct sight. These people discussing the Evil Sky Pavilion here shows how many are silently keeping an eye on it. Ming Shirin wasn't surprised. The vast world is full of wonders. The demonic path exists because like-minded individuals gather together. As a faction within the demonic path, the Evil Sky Pavilion naturally receives reverence and admiration from those within this community, and many aspire to become disciples of the Evil Sky Pavilion. Unfortunately, the master is really old now and has long stopped taking disciples. Ming Shirin did not speak, just quietly listened to the people talking. Someone saw yesterday that the barrier had weakened by another third. It seems the Evil Sky Pavilion does not plan to repair the barrier. It's difficult to repair. The energy required for the barrier wouldn't be possible to gather in a few years. A few years? That's pretty much old age. Makes sense. I heard that the Heaven Sword sect is planning to challenge the Evil Sky Pavilion. The Heaven Sword sect is really in a desperate situation. Hearing this, Ming Shirin was startled. Heaven Sword sect is going to attack the Evil Sky Pavilion? A bearded cultivator answered. The master of the Heaven Sword sect, Luo Changfeng, died at the hands of the founder of the Evil Sky Pavilion. Luo Shinkong had only one son, and you might not know, the top disciple of the Heaven Sword sect, Zhou Jifeng, defected to the Evil Sky Pavilion. It's said that Luo Shinkong was so angry he didn't sleep for 3 days. Luo Shinkong has already sent out calls to various famous sects, and it's likely that before the founder of the Evil Sky Pavilion passes, there will be another wave of attacks. Ming Shirin responded with a dismissive laugh. Luo Shinkong, that old coot, has such nerve. Old coot? Hearing this nickname, the people around looked at him. Why use such harsh words, brother? It's just tea time chatter. Don't take it personally. Ming Shirin continued to ask, Luo Shinkong has issued a call to arms? The bearded man nodded. Yes, all of the top 10 sects except the Clarity sect have received the call. It's uncertain if Cloud, Sky, and Luo sect will participate. Where does Luo Shinkong get the confidence? The Heaven Sword sect is already in such a state. That's not entirely fair to say. Luo Shinkong has been in seclusion for many years and should not be underestimated. Moreover, the barrier of the Evil Sky Pavilion is weakening. Perhaps this is an opportunity. Ming Shirin, hearing the people's discussions, stood up with a cold laugh. Every siege of Golden Court Mountain is the same old rhetoric. I'm tired of hearing it. Even without the founder of the Evil Sky Pavilion, there are still his disciples. The crowd agreed, saying, that makes sense. Ming Shirin left Tangzi town and headed straight for the Evil Sky Pavilion. Meanwhile, Lu Zhou, having nothing else to do, started a raffle. Ding! This raffle used up 50 merit points and you've won 3 reversal cards. The winning notification surprised Lu Zhou. It seems timing and luck really do matter in raffles. He continued to draw. Ding! This raffle used up 50 merit points and you've won 5 fatal block cards. Lu Zhou continued to draw. Ding! Thank you for your patronage. Luck value +1. His winning streak ended and Lu Zhou shook his head, closing the system interface. At that moment, the voice of little Yuaner came from outside. Master, 4th senior brother is back. Upon entering the Great Hall, he saw Ming Shirin quietly waiting with the peacock feather. Master, I have confirmed that the incident at Skylark Tower was indeed orchestrated by the traitor Siwuya. Yellow Peak Mountain was his intelligence point. Unfortunately, Siwuya is protected by experts, so I only managed to seize his weapon. He then presented presented the weapon. Ding. Celestial weapon peacock feather recovered. Requires rare refining before use. Lu Zhou examined it. This was Siwuya's weapon, an extremely rare concealed weapon. Little Yuan was dazzled by the appearance of the peacock feather. It's really pretty, but still a bit plain, not as good looking as my Brahma Heaven Silk. Ming Shireen was speechless upon hearing this. Ever since his junior sister got the Brahma Heaven Silk, nothing else seemed to please her. Lu Zhou asked, "How did you find old Seventh?" Ming Shireen perked up. "That's a long story." Upon hearing this, Lu Zhou waved his hand. "Then let's not talk about it." Ming Shireen stood awkwardly, as if he had missed a perfect opportunity to show off. "Master, old Seventh's cultivation was bound, so he had nowhere to escape. I also encountered Bai Yuqing, one of the underworld sect's 4 great protectors, and the traitor Yu Shangrong." Lu Zhou was surprised. Old Seventh was restrained? After thinking for a moment, he spoke calmly. "Old Seventh's cultivation was bound by your master, so it's not surprising you could defeat him. Bai Yuqing's cultivation is far superior to yours. How could you have succeeded if she were present?" The opportunity to show off came back, and Ming Shireen spoke proudly. "After all, Bai Yuqing is from the underworld sect. When I mentioned master, Bai Yuqing was so scared she ran off. How could she dare to stop me? Moreover, the traitor Yu Shangrong was also there." "How so? Did Yu Shangrong try to stop you?" "No, I talked a lot of sense into him. He knew he was in the wrong and didn't dare argue with me, let alone stop me. Luckily, I'm clever. I took his peacock feather when I left, to prevent him from causing trouble later." Lu Zhou nodded with satisfaction. "You did well in this matter." Ming Shireen's face lit up with joy. "Thank you for the praise, master. I have another matter to report. When I was returning to the Evil Sky Pavilion, I passed through Tangzi Town Station and heard that the former master of Heaven Sword sect, Luo Xingkong, is widely issuing calls to arms, planning to attack the Evil Sky Pavilion again. On his way back, Ming Shireen also deliberately observed the barrier around Golden Court Mountain and found that its strength had indeed diminished significantly. He even asked Elder Hua to confirm this, and the reply affirmed the external rumors. Both disciples of the Evil Sky Pavilion and outside cultivators believed that the force of the barrier was absorbed by Master, as many people witnessed the commotion in the secret chamber. Lu Zhou was dismissive. Luo Xingkong is just a broken body, not worth mentioning. Hearing this, Ming Shireen quickly bowed. "I am willing to go down the mountain and kill Luo Xingkong at Heaven Sword sect." Just as he finished speaking, Zhou Jifeng quickly walked in. "Greetings, Pavilion Lord, Mr. Fourth, Mr. Ninth." Lu Zhou asked him what he wanted. Zhou Jifeng hesitated. "I heard Mr. Fourth had returned, and specially came to see." Ming Shireen scolded. "Speak up if you have something to say. Don't hem and haw. You haven't learned the skills well, but you've certainly picked up the sanctimonious demeanor of the righteous path." Zhou Jifeng's face turned red. "Pavilion Lord, I am willing to go to Heaven Sword sect." Ming Shireen was puzzled. "Why would you go to Heaven Sword sect? With your divine court realm level?" Zhou Jifeng was embarrassed. "I can persuade them." Lu Zhou shook his head upon hearing this. "You are a disciple of Heaven Sword sect. Going there would only exacerbate the conflict. Luo Xingkong may have been in seclusion for many years, but I still do not regard him as a threat." Zhou Jifeng clasped his hands together. "Luo Xingkong's seclusion is not simple. When I was still at Heaven Sword sect, there were rumors that Luo Xingkong had cultivated a technique that could rapidly increase his cultivation level. We must be cautious." Ming Shireen scoffed. "A technique that rapidly increases cultivation? Isn't he afraid of deviating from his practice and dying from an explosive failure?" Zhou Jifeng replied. "I don't know either. The path of cultivation has its own rules, and breaking those rules requires a corresponding price." Lin Luo chose to explode his body to resist the power of the 10 sorcerers and aid the cloud-piercing flying chariot. If Lu Zhou hadn't intervened, how could Lin Luo be where he is today? As the saying goes, it's easy to dodge a spear, but hard to guard against a hidden arrow. If Luo Xingkong, that old rogue, sneaks over and tries a desperate move like Lin Luo did, who could withstand it? Everyone looked towards Lu Zhou, who spoke nonchalantly. "The mere Heaven Sword sect, worthy to clash with me?" Ming Shireen appropriately flattered. "Master's might is unparalleled. Even when the 10 great sects masters simultaneously attacked Master, they couldn't handle him. A son dies, and the father jumps out. That tactic won't work." Zhou Jifeng echoed. "Pavilion Lord's might is unparalleled." Little Yuan giggled. "Enough about the awe-inspiring stuff. Come with me." Zhou Jifeng, thinking about the Brahma Heaven Silk, broke out in a cold sweat. "Mr. Ninth, what do you need?" Little Yuan looked at him with a smile. "We're practicing the coordination of Brahma Heaven Silk. Don't worry, last time was my fault. This time I promise no one will get hurt." With that, she quickly pulled Zhou Jifeng out of the Great Hall. Ming Shireen watched, somewhat bewildered. "This is a bit off. I've never seen Little Yuan apologize to anyone besides Master. It's like a dream." He pinched himself hard. "Ouch. It hurts. Not dreaming. It's real." Lu Zhou frowned slightly, looking at Ming Shireen as if he were watching a fool. Sensing his gaze, Ming Shireen awkwardly explained, "Master, I'm fine. I'm perfectly normal. I'm definitely not crazy." Just then, Duan Mushing strode in. "Disciple greets Master." After greeting him, he came over to Ming Shireen and gave him a hearty slap on the back, leaving Ming Shireen with a pained expression. "You greet the Master nicely. Why do you have to hit me so hard?" Lu Zhou asked. How's the repair of the secret chamber going? Duan Mushing replied. It will take about 10 more days. While cleaning up, I found a box and would like Master to take a look. As he finished speaking, two maids carried the box in. Lu Zhou leaned in for a closer look and noticed the box looked very old, made of a unique material, and was densely covered with intricate patterns, clearly a very special kind of restriction. Lu Zhou bent down to examine the box closely. It must have been something left by Ji Tiandao before his death, but due to the long passage of time, his memory was blurry and he couldn't remember it immediately. However, he recognized the restriction. It was extremely unique. The patterns wrapped around the 6 sides of the box, forming a unified whole. Lu Zhou continued his examination and, when he moved to the other side of the box, noticed a small notch on the side. Does it need a key? Upon hearing his murmur, Duan Mushing immediately got up to leave. Master, I'll go find the key. The secret chamber was quite cluttered, and finding such a small item like a key would take some effort, and it might not even be in the chamber. Lu Zhou glanced at the system interface, and sure enough, behind the task to find the lost key was a new prompt. Open the lost treasure chest. There had been no such hint before, so this box must be the treasure chest related to the quest. Take the box to the Eastern Pavilion. After instructing Ming Shireen, Lu Zhou took the peacock feather and returned to the Eastern Pavilion. 7 days passed in a blink of an eye, and after these 7 days of contemplation, Lu Zhou felt the extraordinary power of heavenly writing had reached a saturation point again, meaning he could use 2 divine powers. Currently, he mastered 2 types of heavenly writing divine powers. One is divine power of the voices of all beings, a type of sonic power, and the other is divine power of supreme wisdom that extinguishes dharma, a kind of rebound power. Both powers require a significant amount of heavenly writing extraordinary power, yet there is only one source for this power. Contemplating heavenly writing, Lu Zhou sighed deeply. 7 or even 10 days of contemplation is only enough for one use of divine power. This divine power really demands a lot from the extraordinary power. However, thinking of the power's might, he was reconciled. There's a return for every investment. While Lu Zhou was pondering, Zhao Yu's voice came from outside. Master, a flying letter from Jianai Jian. Since little Yuaner had become obsessed with the Brahma Heaven Silk, the task of handling flying letters had fallen to Zhao Yu. This was probably for the better, as Zhao Yu was more steady in his duties than little Yuaner. At Lu Zhou's gesture, Zhao Yu opened the flying letter and began to read. Old Senior, I have 3 things to inform you. First, the former master of Heaven Sword sect, Luo Xingkong, has issued a wide call to arms to attack the evil Sky Pavilion. However, other sects seem to be quiet, and Luo Xingkong is getting frustrated. Please be careful. Second, your eldest disciple, the leader of the underworld sect, Yu Zhenghai, has absorbed 2 minor demonic sects, the 100 Refinement sect and the 10,000 Demon sect. It seems Yu Zhenghai has been very active recently. Third, wait for the next flying letter. After finishing her report, Zhao Yu looked somewhat embarrassed. Couldn't this guy use a longer piece of paper? Lu Zhou was also speechless. Go ahead, Zhao Yu. Zhao Yu responded before leaving the hall. Disciple will retire. I'll come back to report after I receive the next flying letter. Lu Zhou casually waved his hand and took out the peacock feather, which was clearly frequently used by Siwuya. For some reason, the words refining talisman popped into his mind. What would Siwuya feel if it were refined? With that thought, he took out the last remaining refining talisman. Meanwhile, Siwuya, who was sitting cross-legged, suddenly opened his eyes. He frowned deeply, a bad premonition emerging in his mind. That's how it is with celestial weapons. When the weapon and its owner's compatibility reach a certain level, it's as if there's a kind of psychic connection, indescribable and mysterious. Such was the case between Siwuya and his peacock feather. A robed subordinate heard him and asked, Sect leader? Siwuya shook his head. I'm fine. Sect leader, shall I make a trip to the Celestial Master's sect? Siwuya slowly stood up. No need. Eldest senior brother has already promised to send someone to the Celestial Master's sect. If I go too, he might think I don't trust him. Second senior brother has injured by Yuqing. Now is the time to see eldest senior brother. Has there been any movement from the Heaven Sword sect recently? Hearing the question, the subordinate quickly replied, Heaven Sword sect has issued a widespread call to arms, vowing to attack the evil Sky Pavilion, and Luo Xingkong has already made his move. However, no other sects have joined them, leaving Heaven Sword sect isolated and weak. Has Old 8 not replied? Old 8 has been silent for 10 days. Siwuya, as expected, said, he must have entered Reflection Cave. I never really expected Old 8 to provide much information. Staying in Reflection Cave is safer. Inform the 5 rats not to rescue Old 8, but to steal the peacock feather instead. The subordinate received the orders and respectfully exited. After the robed subordinate left, a voice suddenly came from the tree canopy above. It was Yu Shangrong. By doing this, 7th junior brother, your previous efforts are wasted. Siwuya sighed helplessly. I underestimated Master's capabilities. My reasons for sending Old 8 back to the evil Sky Pavilion were firstly to ensure his safety, and secondly to have him provide information about the situation inside. Old 8 is simple-minded and unlikely to face lethal danger. If necessary, I will order the 5 rats to save him. Second, Finally, I gave the peacock feather to 4th senior brother, wanting to test master's bottom line. But just now, Siwuya paused. The peacock feather is in danger. Yu Shangrong smiled. Refining a celestial weapon is extremely demanding, and since I helped you, you shouldn't regret it. Siwuya bowed. 2nd senior brother's lesson is correct. It's your turn to help me. Yu Shangrong looked into the distance with a profound gaze. Tell eldest senior brother, even the finest blade needs constant sharpening to maintain its edge. The battle at Mount Tranquility is set for 6 months from now. Siwuya knew that eldest senior brother and 2nd senior brother have always been at odds and anticipated a clash between them, but he hadn't expected it to come so soon, sooner than he could have imagined. 2nd senior brother, can't we? Siwuya's words were cut off by Yu Shangrong. My mind is made up. I just hope he doesn't get injured in these next 6 months. Given eldest senior brother's cultivation, probably only master could harm him, so he shouldn't provoke master. Take good care until we meet again. Siwuya bowed in response. Rest assured, senior brother, I can take care of myself until we meet again. Yu Shangrong didn't linger and vanished from the spot. Siwuya sighed softly, walking towards the pavilion, looking at the table full of intelligence and the tasks that needed attention in the coming period. He suddenly felt a wave of anger and swept his sleeve. What am I really aiming for by doing all this? After speaking, he suddenly began to cough violently. A robed figure rushed over in concern. Siwuya frowned, indicating he was fine. It was just a backlash from breaking the body-binding divine spell. Meanwhile, at the evil sky pavilion, a notification sound reached Lu Zhou's ears. Ding, disciplining Siwuya has earned 200 merit points. Although he didn't know what Siwuya was doing at that moment, the 200 merit points indicated he had suffered backlash. Lu Zhou shook his head and looked at the peacock feather. How easy is it to break the body-binding divine spell? Let alone this body-binding divine spell comes from the system, even if it were cast by a 6 or 7 leaf practitioner from the celestial master's set. Once it hits, breaking through is not easy. Misguided disciple, I'll keep your weapon for now. This was the first indirect confrontation between the master and disciple, and Siwuya was completely defeated. Just as Lu Zhou had put away the peacock feather, Zhao Yu's voice came from outside. Master, 2 flying letters, one from Jian Aijian and one sent up from the foot of the mountain. Zhao Yu opened Jian Aijian's flying letter and began to read. Old senior, this 3rd piece of news is a matter of national importance, which I initially didn't want to mention, but after some thought, I decided to share it. Wei Zhuoyan's 4 deputy generals have led an army of 50,000 to pacify the unrest in Lian State, and the 4th prince, Lu Bing, is returning to the court. I know the old senior doesn't care about wars, but such a big change in the palace must be suspicious. Be wary of Moli. Lu Zhou listened with a calm expression and nodded. This message involved the behind-the-scenes manipulator Moli and other palace powers, which Lu Zhou had no interest in engaging with. Whether Wei Zhuoyan could handle it was left to fate. Zhao Yu opened the 2nd flying letter and found it to be a challenge letter from the Heaven Sword sect. Master, Luo Shinkong has set up a challenge stage, wishing to duel with master alone. After hearing this, Lu Zhou waved his hand dismissively. No need to bother. He had not yet taken the minor Heaven Sword sect seriously. Zhao Yu then turned and left. However, the next morning, Zhao Yu came again with another flying letter, seeking Lu Zhou's instruction. Master, this time Heaven Sword sect's Luo Shinkong has sent another challenge letter, claiming he has greatly improved in cultivation and wants a fair duel with master. Lu Zhou snorted coldly. Luo Shinkong is quite bold. Usually, the top 10 sects steer clear of the evil sky pavilion, and now he even sends his disciples to deliver such messages, blinded by his grief over his son's death. From now on, there's no need to bring any more letters from the Heaven Sword sect. Time quickly passed, and 10 days later, with a challenge letter arriving each day, all intercepted by Zhao Yu. By the time the 13th letter arrived, Zhao Yu finally lost her patience. Where's the person delivering these letters? Capture him and chop him to pieces. Yes, ma'am. Several female cultivators from derived Moon Palace said before rushing down the mountain, quickly catching up to the Heaven Sword sect disciple delivering the letters. Young hero, please stop. Hearing the call, the disciple was thrilled. You've finally come around to be my companions. Jian Su's companions. His words were cut short when he suddenly realized something was amiss, but before he could react, he was chopped to death on the spot. Zhao Yu approached the evil sky pavilion's great hall with a stern face, and Ming Shireen, seeing her expression, asked in confusion, who provoked her? 4th senior brother, see for yourself. Zhao Yu handed over the flying letter, and after reading it, Ming Shireen also erupted in anger. Luo Shinkong, that old fool, dares to call us worthless, and he dares to set up a life and death challenge at the Lotus platform to challenge the evil sky pavilion? What is this oval thing? Ming Shireen looked at it for a long time, but couldn't figure it out. The two then headed together towards the great hall of the evil sky pavilion. Little Yuaner was practicing her coordination and control with the Brahma Heaven Silk. Senior brother, senior sister, look, my Brahma Heaven Silk is even more powerful than before. Very impressive. Ming Shireen didn't have time to chat with his junior sister here. Upon entering the great hall, they saw their master holding a brush, seemingly painting something. Ming Shireen moved closer to take take a closer look and realized that it was the box they had found in the secret chamber. Even the patterns on it were drawn without any discrepancy, virtually identical. I never expected Master to be so skilled in painting and calligraphy. It's truly an eye-opener for me. Ming Shirin handed over the challenge letter, and Lu Zhou glanced at it but remained expressionless, despite the somewhat indecent content of the letter. Master, the Heaven Sword sect is spreading rumors everywhere, daring to openly insult the evil Sky Pavilion. This is unbearable, and I request permission to go down the mountain and leave none of them standing. Zhao Yu agreed. It's fortunate that Duan Mushing isn't here. If he had seen the challenge letter, he probably would have charged down the mountain without even a word. Lu Zhou spoke calmly. Luo Changfeng of the Heaven Sword sect died by my hand. Luo Xingkong must have come prepared with such boldness. Master, whether he's prepared or not, to dare to shout and provoke us like this, we cannot let him off lightly. Lu Zhou nodded and issued a command. Send a flying letter to Jian Aijian. Have him investigate Luo Xingkong and send him the completed drawing of this box as well for investigation. Zhao Yu received the order and turned to leave. Ming Shirin, curious about the oval drawing on the challenge letter, asked, Master, your skill in painting and calligraphy is exceptional. What is this drawing? Lu Zhou did not speak but completed the drawing, after which an image of a lifelike turtle appeared. After seeing it, Ming Shirin's eyes widened in excitement. A shrinking turtle? How can the evil Sky Pavilion tolerate such an insult? Master, can you endure this? Lu Zhou countered by asking him what he thought should be done. Hearing the question, Ming Shirin's heart raced, wondering what his master's intention was with such a question. How was he supposed to respond? After a moment of thought, he finally spoke. He who insults others invites insult upon himself. Luo Xingkong must be executed. Lu Zhou nodded in agreement. Then let it be so. A rush of excitement surged through him, and upon hearing this, Ming Shirin was momentarily stunned, his blood boiling with eagerness to rush down the mountain and unleash havoc. These times had been really oppressive, not at all like himself. Soon after, Zhao Yu entered with a flying letter. Disciple has already sent a letter to Jian Aijian, but 7th junior brother has also sent a letter. At Lu Zhou's gesture, Zhao Yu opened Si Wuya's letter and began to read. Respected Master, I have a request. I ask that Master not refine the peacock feather. The peacock feather and I have reached the peak of compatibility. When Master bestowed this weapon upon me, I treasured it as a precious jewel. In today's world, it is impossible to find another more suitable master for it. I believe Master also would not want the peacock feather's reputation to be tarnished by others. I have learned that Heaven Sword sect has issued a widespread call to arms to provoke the evil Sky Pavilion. I have thoroughly investigated, and Luo Xingkong, grieving over the loss of his son, wishes to fight to the death, while other righteous sects wait to benefit as opportunists. Give me 1 month, and I will eradicate Heaven Sword sect to dissolve the hatred in Master's heart. Lu Zhou speculated that the compatibility between Si Wuya and the peacock feather truly must have reached its peak for him to sense the threat of its refinement. Ming Shirin was somewhat puzzled. Disciple has a question. Master, Si Wuya's dark net has spies spread across all realms, including many ordinary people who are completely powerless. How can they confront the Heaven Sword sect? Underworld sect. With the Underworld sect stepping in, does that mean we just stand back? Lu Zhou shook his head in response. No, 1 month is too long. If Luo Xingkong is so eager for battle, then let's grant his wish. Zhao Yu and the others were greatly invigorated, and they both bowed in response. As you command. How could the evil Sky Pavilion tolerate such arrogance from Luo Changfeng and remain silent? The next day arrived quickly, and with the impending battle known, everyone gathered inside the Great Hall. Lu Zhou glanced over the crowd. Pan Zhong was absent due to injuries. Pan Lydian had taken Black Magnolia a few days earlier, and Lung Luo, although somewhat cultivated, was still in recuperation. Their last trip to Slender West Lake had drained much of their strength, so these three could not be relied upon. Zhao Yu bowed and spoke. Master, Jian Aijian sent a flying letter early this morning, mostly agreeing with 7th junior brother, but there is one difference. The Heaven Sword sect does have allies, but these allies are not among the top 10 sects and their whereabouts are too concealed to be traced. Lu Zhou nodded, acknowledging that Jian Aijian's information was clearly more accurate than Si Wuya's. He then turned and walked towards the exit of the Great Hall. Upon reaching the flying chariot, Ming Shirin nudged Duan Mushing next to him. Senior brother, I heard from junior sister that your steering skills have greatly improved. I told you I wasn't lying. Steering is very beneficial for cultivation. It can refine the character and especially temper the mind. Duan Mushing raised an eyebrow. Are you saying I have a temper? Ming Shirin quickly waved his hands. Not at all. Old Fourth, what do you think of my Overlord spear? Ming Shirin complimented, majestic and peerless. Truly a top-notch treasure. Duan Mushing shook his head and sighed. Senior brother knows you got a junk for nothing, and it's unsettling your heart. Just focus on steering well. Temper your mind. As long as a weapon is celestial grade, it doesn't matter whether it looks impressive or not. After saying that, he pushed Ming Shirin towards the helm. Ming Shirin reluctantly took his position at the helm. We should also let junior sister steer sometime to temper her character. Waving that tattered red cloth everywhere isn't right. With Ming Shirin at the helm, the flying chariot sailed smoothly. Hua Wudao stood with his hands behind his back back, overlooking the surroundings of the evil sky pavilion. I wish to ask the pavilion lord, the day in the secret chamber when you absorbed the energy from the barrier, was it to maintain peak condition? Lu Zhou glanced at him. You think so too? Hua Wudao quickly replied. I wouldn't dare. Lu Zhou spoke calmly. The barrier, I will repair it myself. Although he said this, in truth, he had no good method to repair the barrier. It would take at least 3 years with several disciples working on it simultaneously. The 8-leaf Lung Luo and Pan Litian are now too weak to be relied upon. The only quicker method would be to use another peak experience card, but he would not use it lightly. While Lu Zhou was pondering, Flowers and Moon Journey approached. Perhaps because she had just joined the evil sky pavilion, she appeared somewhat restrained. I have something to report. While I was keeping watch over Heaven Sword Sect Elder Yi Qingji from a tower nearby, I think I saw someone familiar. Lu Zhou asked with curiosity. Who was it? Flowers and Moon Journey quickly knelt and replied. It was the 4th prince, Lu Bing. Having said this, she knelt nervously in front of Lu Zhou. When I was following Jade Consort, I accidentally saw a portrait of the 4th prince, but I wasn't sure, so I did not report it in time. Please forgive me, Pavilion Lord. The 4th Prince Lu Bing has been on the frontier for years, and due to his military achievements, even the powers within the palace dare not trouble him. Even if he were to return, he would have to relinquish his military command. The question is, why would Lu Bing come back at this time? Lu Zhou did not dwell on this question. He looked at Flowers and Moon Journey and inquired, did you pass this information to Jianai Jian? Hearing this, Flowers and Moon Journey, who was about to rise, was so frightened that she fell to her knees again. Flowers and Moon Journey dares not. It was the first time I saw him at Skylark Tower. Hua Wudao quickly vouched. Flowers and Moon Journey comes from the Luo sect, where discipline is strict. She would never do such a thing. While steering, Ming Shireen couldn't help but interject. Strict upbringing? Then why did she leave the Luo sect? Hua Wudao was left unsure how to respond. Can't answer. Can you? I wondered how Jian Aijian seems to know everything. She must have followed old Seventh's lead. Lu Zhou's gaze fell on Flowers and Moon Journey, and under the recent pressure, her loyalty had not diminished, indicating she had not lied. Stand up and speak. You have good potential. Have you ever been to the Western Pavilion? Flowers and Moon Journey answered. I haven't had the chance to visit yet. Lu Zhou then said, in the Western Pavilion, there is a technique called speedy condensation into forceful energy technique, which would suit you well. Upon hearing this, Hua Wudao's face lit up with joy. Quickly thanked the Pavilion Lord. Prompted by the reminder, Flowers and Moon Journey excitedly knelt again. Thank you, Pavilion Lord. Lu Zhou, seeing this, was somewhat exasperated. This is a habit from staying in the palace, always kneeling at the drop of a hat. All these annoying formalities. Hua Wudao took a moment to explain to Flowers and Moon Journey. The Luo sect does not teach the speedy condensation into forceful energy technique. Archers are strong because they can attack from a distance, but their weakness is also clear. Once a cultivator gets close, they often don't have time to condense forceful energy to shoot. The speedy condensation into forceful energy technique can greatly compensate for this weakness. Flowers and Moon Journey nodded earnestly. Thank you, Elder Hua, for your guidance. I will work hard. System notification. Loyalty increased by 10%. Lu Zhou was somewhat surprised that it could raise her loyalty so much. Although Flowers and Moon Journey adhered to many formalities, she was naive and appeared to have some worldly experience, yet she had not been completely corrupted by the world. Bestowing her with the technique was a minor matter. Meanwhile, in a tranquil small dwelling, a robed cultivator came up behind Siwia to report. Sect leader, as you predicted, someone indeed sent a tip-off to the evil sky pavilion. Siwia asked, do you know where the information came from? The subordinate answered, from within the palace. It's strange. Master has always disdained dealings with palace forces. How could this happen? Siwia's brow slowly relaxed. Have our spies in the palace investigate. I trust that this person is acting normally. Since that is the case, let's play along with his plan. After making arrangements, he removed his robe and began to observe. Since his cultivation was sealed by his master, he had tried various methods to break the divine curse, but unfortunately, the body-binding divine spell showed no signs of weakening. He looked at the books and documents about the curse in front of him, shook his head, and said, blind faith in books is worse than having none at all. The methods described in the books are utterly useless. Someone, I need to go to the Lotus platform. A robed cultivator hurriedly advised. Sect leader, you are without cultivation right now. Going there is too dangerous. He was cut off by Siwia. I know, but some things must be done personally to feel reassured. Notify the 5 rats that we can set off. The Lotus platform is renowned as a place for various sects to discuss and debate the Tao. It is divided into an upper and a lower section. The upper is the platform, and the lower part is shaped like unfolding lotus petals, stretching for miles. Each lotus leaf is supported by a giant pillar, and each pillar is surrounded with no fewer than 5 fire basins for illumination at night. The area below the platform is paved with bluestone, while the platform itself is laid with marble. Beyond the lotus platform are various inns and meeting places, surrounded by splendid buildings with an excellent view. Discussion erupted among the crowd. Hearing this description, it seemed seems different from what you're seeing. Ha, the speaker awkwardly smiled. That's how the travel guide describes it. The writer probably doesn't even know what they wrote. By this time, the Lotus platform was surrounded by spectators. Day after day, year after year, today is the 14th day. Has the Heaven Sword sect sent a challenge to the Evil Sky Pavilion yet? They've sent 13 so far, probably another one coming later tonight. Heard that yesterday's challenge was full of insults, and given the old devil's temper, it's very likely he'll show up. It's unclear whose shameful idea it was, but discussions continued under the Lotus platform, while the platform above was much quieter. Luo Shinkong sat meditatively with his eyes closed, unhearing. 10 chairs behind him, each occupied by a person with a sword. Besides, a banner hung on the platform with 8 large characters. For the murder of my son, I will not share the sky. Sect leader, the demon of Evil Sky Pavilion isn't coming again? Spoke a Heaven Sword sect elder with an indignant expression. Luo Shinkong opened his eyes and looked deeply towards the sky. No need to rush. The old man insulted Evil Sky Pavilion so harshly, he will come sooner or later. The old demon is hot-tempered. He can't help himself. Sect leader, the barrier's power was absorbed by the old demon. His strength might be very strong. No need to persuade me anymore. It's like an arrow on the bowstring that must be shot. After many years of seclusion, would I not have some tricks up my sleeve? Changfeng is dead. My life has no meaning anymore. If the old demon comes, remember to act according to my plan. The 10 people behind him answered in unison, as you command. After waiting for a while and still not seeing any sign of Evil Sky Pavilion, the onlookers started to heckle. Master Luo, send the 14th challenge letter already. I suggest you insult their parents too. Luo Shinkong scanned the crowd, remaining silent. Disperse, disperse. Thought there would be something exciting to see. It seems the rumors are true. Evil Sky Pavilion really isn't what it used to be. How mighty it once was. Who dared to refuse Evil Sky Pavilion even once? A sigh was followed by murmurs. Heaven Sword sect is going to become famous in the cultivation world. The demon kills indiscriminately, causing chaos everywhere, committing all kinds of evil. Everyone should be rid of him. Luo Shinkong then spoke. Order to send the 14th challenge letter to Evil Sky Pavilion. Below, a Heaven Sword sect disciple quietly responded. Sect leader, the disciple responsible for delivering the 13th challenge letter hasn't returned yet, and likely has met with misfortune. Luo Shinkong's face darkened upon hearing this. Continue sending. Let the content of the challenge letters be freely composed as long as it forces Evil Sky Pavilion to respond. Those afraid to die, expel them from Heaven Sword sect immediately. Reward 1,000 taels of gold and the internal Tai sword technique to those willing to deliver the letter. With the promise of a great reward, a brave individual will always step forward, and immediately an outer sect disciple volunteered. Elder Luo Xing angrily said, yes, let the onlookers write this challenge letter. Just as he finished speaking, suddenly someone shouted, what is that? It looks like a shooting star. No, how could a shooting star have black parts? The object, resembling a meteor trailing a long tail across the clouds, was too distinctive and soon recognized by an experienced cultivator. Cloud-piercing flying chariot. It's Evil Sky Pavilion's cloud-piercing flying chariot. Run! The moment Evil Sky Pavilion's flying chariot appeared, the onlookers were terrified into a panic. Although Evil Sky Pavilion's influence was not what it once was, it was still not something these minor characters could provoke. Luo Shinkong, however, was not afraid. His eyes blazed with a strong desire for battle. Finally, they have come. The cloud-piercing flying chariot slowed down and stopped several tens of meters above the Lotus platform. Some cultivators who had never seen Lu Zhou in person exclaimed in awe, this is the Pavilion Lord of Evil Sky Pavilion, the master of the 9 great demons. That little girl must be the youngest female disciple. Chi Yuaner. She looks inexperienced, but she kills without blinking an eye. Little Yuaner moved a chair behind Lu Zhou and said, Master, please sit. Lu Zhou looked pleased. The girl has grown up, finally becoming a thoughtful little helper. Beside him, Hua Wudao looked embarrassed, wondering if he should also bring his own chair. A female disciple, quick to notice, hurriedly brought over another chair. Are you Luo Shinkong? Lu Zhou's voice rolled out like thunder, sweeping over the onlookers below who marveled. As expected of the Grandmaster of Evil Sky Pavilion, vigorous as ever, his voice as robust and resounding as in his youth. Luo Shinkong responded with a deep, mocking tone. I thought you wouldn't dare to show. Even so, after 13 challenge letters, when did Evil Sky Pavilion become so cowardly? Lu Zhou ignored him, turning instead to his disciples. This trivial Heaven Sword set I leave to you. Ming Shireen immediately leapt forward excitedly. 5th junior sister, you handle the steering. Holding the helm doesn't require high cultivation. Zhao Yu alone is enough. Old man, you're not worthy to face my master. Luo Shinkong coldly responded, whether I'm worthy or not isn't for you to decide. Changfeng was your son, right? Such trash deserve to die, and you dare to challenge my Evil Sky Pavilion. Such a foul mouth. Are you one of the 9 beasts of Evil Sky Pavilion? The two's exchange of insults left the onlookers stunned. They hadn't expected Heaven Sword sect to dare to confront Evil Sky Pavilion face to face. You aren't worthy of my personal intervention. The only one worthy of my attention is you. Luo Shinkong said this while looking directly at Lu Zhou. The last 3 words clearly directed directed at him. Lu Zhou continued to meditate, uninterested in responding. If you want to challenge my master, defeat me first. Ming Shirin spoke and was about to leap down from the flying chariot when Luo Shinkong waved his hand, and immediately 5 of the 10 people behind him stepped forward. Heaven Sword Sect's 5 top disciples. Who dares to come down for a fight? Duan Musheng, holding his overlord spear, filled with a fighting spirit, declared, I will. Just as he was about to act, a Heaven Sword Sect elder, Luo Zheng, chuckled, I'll handle this one. Seeing this, Hua Wudao slowly rose to his feet and then leapt onto the lotus platform. I'll go first. The 5 disciples immediately charged forward, surrounding Hua Wudao in the center. Seeing his arrival, Luo Zheng took a step back. Ming Shirin understood the opponent's strategy. Master, this old fox is playing tricks. Lu Zhou nodded slightly, unconcerned. Playing games like Tianji's horse racing was pointless, especially since Hua Wudao had reached the level of 7 leaves, and his 6 union seal was unmatched. How could these 5, merely at the divine court realm, be a match for Hua Wudao? The 5 disciples, wielding long swords, rapidly circled around Hua Wudao, their swords slightly trembling under the influence of forceful energy. Luo Shinkong sneered, so it's Elder Hua Wudao of the Cloud Sect. I'm truly ashamed for you. Hua Wudao's expression remained unchanged. During his time at Evil Sky Pavilion, he had already come to terms with these confrontations. From the day he joined Evil Sky Pavilion, he knew he was destined to face these challenges. Strike! The 5 disciples swung their long swords, simultaneously striking at Hua Wudao. Hua Wudao then deployed the 6 union seal, instantly surrounding himself with 6 seal script characters that were impervious to penetration, causing all sword forceful energy to smash against the 6 union seal. Hua Wudao stepped forward again, as calmly as a light breeze in floating clouds, completely unaffected. In earlier years, many had scoffed at the 6 union seal as a kind of turtle shell technique, yet now they were astonished to see it used in such a way. The 5 disciples unleashed their full power, but the 6 union seal far exceeded their imaginations, and they were unable to make even a slight impact on it. What are you waiting for? Combine the 5 swords. At Luo Zheng's shout, the 5 disciples quickly came together to form a single entity. At that moment, a huge green circle appeared where Hua Wudao stood, with a diameter of about 5 meters. This wasn't Hua Wudao's Bagua forceful energy seal, but the Buddhist technique, clear mirror platform. The heart, like a clear mirror platform, sees through all things, with every movement of the enemy under control. Those blessed by it receive a significant increase in cultivation, while those corrupted by it see a significant decrease. This is a self-benefiting, enemy-harming area technique, requiring at least the nascent divinity tribulation realm to perform, and the higher the cultivator's level, the more terrifying the effect. Heaven Sword Sect is affiliated with the Taoist sects. How could someone master such an ultimate move? However, Hua Wudao was not the least bit afraid. His expression remained calm as he continued forward, the Bagua forming under his feet, and the remaining 3 characters of the 6 union seal also floated out. Luo Shinkong rallied his troops. Disciples, heed my command. Today, killing any member of Evil Sky Pavilion will be rewarded. Hua Wudao coldly responded, I'm afraid you won't be able to kill anyone. With that, he directly controlled the 6 union seal to expand and release outward, the 9 shining golden characters shooting out in all directions. The sword moves of the 5 great disciples hadn't even struck when they were repelled by the seal script characters, their forceful energy shattering like glass and dissipating into the air. Even the powerful amplifying technique of the clear mirror platform could not bridge the gap between them. Hua Wudao perfectly demonstrated how to use the disparity in realms to crush his opponents, giving them no chance at all. Onlookers commented in awe. It's like a grandfather beating up his grandson. They're not even on the same level. Who says a defensive style can't counterattack? Who says a turtle shell technique is doomed to just take hits? Elder Hua of the Cloud Sect actually joined Evil Sky Pavilion. With such a powerful figure, isn't Heaven Sword Sect in trouble now? Luo Shinkong sat on a stool with an ugly expression, while Hua Wudao continued advancing, the 6 union seal appearing again to envelop his entire body. 4 of the 5 great disciples fell to the ground unconscious, and 1 vomited blood and died. Ming Shirin, observing this scene, shook his head. He has stayed in the Cloud Sect for too long, unwilling to take harsh measures, but we can see his progress. If this had been right after he joined Evil Sky Pavilion, Elder Hua wouldn't dare to kill anyone. Lu Zhou did not pay attention to the battle. He was preoccupied with thinking about the box and the key, and how to catch a few miscreants, completely ignoring the spectacle on the lotus platform. Hua Wudao kept advancing, and with every step forward, an additional seal script character appeared around his body, shining brightly and looking magnificent. Luo Shinkong, watching him approach, snorted coldly. I never thought that Elder Hua Wudao of the esteemed Cloud Sect would assist in tyranny. After this, I must visit the Cloud Sect to seek justice. Hua Wudao didn't speak and directly deployed his 7 Leaves avatar. The next second, an invisible oppressive force suddenly enveloped the entire lotus platform, causing all the disciples of Heaven Sword Sect to collapse. With the 5 great elders and Luo looking up in horror, the distant spectators were in an uproar. A 7 Leaves avatar, a height many people people never reach in their lifetime. With just Hua Wudao, Evil Sky Pavilion has become an insurmountable gap for Heaven Sword Sect. How are they supposed to fight this? There's no point. Heaven Sword Sect is just humiliating itself. Just then, Ming Shirin's voice came through. Elder Hua, don't bully the weak. Hua Wudao nodded at this, withdrew the avatar he had just formed, and with a leap, returned to the flying chariot. The disparity was too great. There was no point in fighting. Ming Shirin was about to enter the fray excitedly when little Yuaner stepped in first. I'll do it. The onlookers outside were puzzled. What's this about? Wasn't Hua Wudao enough? Why switch? However, the spectators were quite eager to see this scene unfold, as a total overpowering would lack any entertainment value. This is Chi Yuaner, the 9th disciple of Evil Sky Pavilion. Why is she carrying a piece of tattered red cloth? Hearing this, little Yuaner pointed with her hand, and the Brahma Heaven Silk flew towards the chattering cultivator like a dragon. Approaching swiftly, it struck with force, and the cultivator instantly died on the spot. Little Yuaner then huffed, tattered cloth, I'll smash your mouth. Seeing this, the crowd was terrified, stumbling backwards. Such a fierce little girl. A celestial weapon. That's actually a celestial weapon. Indeed, Evil Sky Pavilion is known for its treasures, and today it shows. The spectators murmured, too intimidated to speak further and opting instead to silently watch the battle. Little Yuaner then provocatively beckoned to Luo Shinkong. Old man, I'll fight you. Upon hearing this, the disciples of Heaven Sword Sect instinctively took a step back, many regretting their decision to confront Evil Sky Pavilion head-on. Even this seemingly weakest demoness was formidable. How would they manage the rest? At that moment, one of the 5 elders, Luo Zheng, soared towards her with his sword. I will take you on, little girl. His sword forceful energy stirred up, creating crescent-shaped light patterns that danced across the lotus platform. Luo Zheng, in the nascent divinity tribulation realm, but yet to manifest an avatar, was one of the top fighters in Heaven Sword Sect. It was rumored that Evil Sky Pavilion's 9th disciple was only in the divine court realm, which might give Heaven Sword Sect a chance to reclaim some dignity. Wait, what's happening? Luo Zheng is being suppressed. The spectators were shocked and speechless. Little Yuaner first used the Brahma Heaven Silk to block those sword forceful energies, then she stepped into the air, using the 7 stars gathering cloud step, her feet treading on the Brahma Heaven Silk, which flashed dazzlingly through the sky, overwhelming Luo Zheng with her attacks. Luo Zheng's expression darkened as he kept retreating, completely unprepared for how strong his opponent was. He retreated to the lotus platform and shouted, Clear Mirror Platform. Instantly, the avatar lit up, and under the enhancement of the Clear Mirror Platform, the avatar blossomed, its energy surged. Take my sword. Luo Zheng's momentum surged as he thrust his sword towards Lil Yuaner like an arrow released from the bow. Ming Shirin furrowed his brow, hesitating whether to intervene to help Lil Yuaner when he suddenly noticed that the avatar behind her grew as if a child had matured, increasing by about 1 meter in height. This is clearly an avatar blossoming. How is it possible? She's blossomed. She blossomed during battle. A one-leaf avatar in the nascent divinity tribulation realm. Little Yuaner's performance redefined everyone's understanding of Evil Sky Pavilion. There are many with terrifying talents, but the only one who has reached a one-leaf avatar in the nascent divinity tribulation realm within less than 6 years is Little Yuaner, unseen by those before, and likely by those to come. Luo Zheng's sword split from 1 into 2, 2 into 4, and 4 into 8, launching 8 sword forceful energies at once. Little Yuaner did not retreat but advanced, stepping into the air to meet him. Her cloud robe feather dress unfolded behind her, and with the cloud stepping boots paired with the 7 stars gathering cloud step, her speed instantly positioned her above Luo Zheng. You're too weak, she said, then scoffed with a smirk, and kicked straight down. With a thunderous sound, blood splattered. Luo Zheng was dead before he could react, slain right there. Unexpectedly, an elder of the Heaven Sword Sect was easily kicked to death by someone, and that someone was just a teenage girl. Little Yuaner stood in the air, gesturing provocatively at Luo Shinkong with a crooked finger. They're not enough for a warm-up. Why don't you try? Luo Shinkong, barely containing his rage, turned to one of the 5 great elders, Luo Yong. Take down this girl. Avenge Luo Zheng. Luo Yong received the order without hesitation, gripping his long sword, and stepped forward. At that moment, Ming Shirin couldn't help but leap down from the flying chariot. Little junior sister, you're too slow. Let me handle this. Brother, I'm not done fighting yet. You've shown off enough. Hearing this, Little Yuaner huffed and then returned to the flying chariot. Ming Shirin chuckled and looked at the people of Heaven Sword Sect. I'm not my junior sister. She doesn't know her own strength. Come on. The onlookers seemed to realize something. Evil Sky Pavilion wasn't just aiming to eliminate Heaven Sword Sect, but also to demonstrate to the world that they are still powerful, perhaps even to restore their former glory. Everyone overlooked a crucial fact. While the 1st, 2nd, and 7th disciples of Evil Sky Pavilion had indeed left, there were still disciples remaining. Judging by the situation, it seemed reminiscent of the days when Yu Zhenghai and Yu Shanrong defeated all challengers. Arrogant, Luo Yong bellowed angrily, raising his long sword and pointing it forward. His eyes were cold, as if he could see through life and death, first closing his eyes to take a deep breath, then slowly reopening them. Luo Yong was known for his deadly skills, with rumors suggesting that any cultivator who faced him wouldn't survive beyond 3 moves. His expression emotionless, he stared at Ming Shirin in front of him, his sword trembling as primal energy burst forth. As he moved, he left multiple afterimages in his original spot. His speed was so fast, it appeared as if dozens of figures were attacking Ming Shirin at once. Ming Shirin smiled slightly and flashed forward. The shadows of the two combatants collided, and the fight was over. The two stood back to back, having switched positions. Luo Yong's eyes widened. He could only exhale without inhaling, and after spitting out a mouthful of blood, he fell to the ground lifeless. Seeing this, the disciples of Heaven's Sword sect were horrified. It only took one move from start to finish. How did he do that? Their cultivation was too low to clearly see how the attack was executed. With 3 of the 5 great elders remaining, Ming Shirin had successfully bluffed his way through. Although he was excited inside, he remained calm on the surface. Who's next? The onlookers, witnessing this scene, shook their heads. The defeat is sealed. Heaven's Sword sect is finished. Even with the help of the clear mirror platform, they're still being crushed. The cultivation world had underestimated Evil Sky Pavilion. The remaining 3 elders, merely at the peak of the Divine Court realm, were no match. Ming Shirin glanced over the people on the Lotus platform. Luo Shinkong, it's your turn now. Luo Shinkong remained unmoved, seemingly waiting for an opportunity to strike, occasionally looking up towards the flying chariot. Unfortunately for him, Lu Zhou on the flying chariot kept his eyes closed, completely detached from worldly affairs. Duan Mushing swung his overlord spear, feeling a bit itchy to fight. 4th junior brother, it's my turn now. Ming Shirin hadn't had enough yet, but Duan Mushing quickly advised, 3rd senior brother, this small scene isn't worthy of your involvement. You should stay with master and watch. Engaging with this sort of trash will only lower your status. Can you believe this is something a person would say? Upon hearing this, the onlookers began to discuss amongst themselves, sensing another layer of meaning in those words. Could the 3rd disciple of Evil Sky Pavilion actually be on the same level as the Grandmaster of Evil Sky Pavilion? This speculation was entirely plausible, especially since the 1st disciple, Yu Zhenghai, and the 2nd disciple, Sword Demon Yu Shangrong, were top-tier cultivators of their time. Rumor had it that both had already reached the 8-leaf level of cultivation, and being the 3rd disciple, his entry wasn't late, so his cultivation should be even higher. Ming Shirin, jesting, spoke softly. No one else? Luo Shinkong turned back to look at the 3 elders, who simultaneously felt a jolt in their hearts, their cold sweat unending. What the hell is this about? Just pulling out any disciple results in an overwhelming defeat. Is sending people to their doom fun? I withdraw. One elder threw down his long sword, causing a stir among the crowd below. In the orthodox cultivation world, betraying one's sect or retreating from battle is a dishonorable act, unforgivable. Heaven's Sword sect, one of the 10 great sects, to declare such an act in front of the whole world. I also withdraw. Seeing someone leading, another elder couldn't hold back anymore. Just as the last elder was about to stand and follow them, suddenly a fist shining with golden light shot forth, striking the 2 men. With a loud bang, both elders were killed instantly. Luo Shinkong spoke with a cold tone. Heaven's Sword sect elders, Luo Tianxiang and Luo Hongzhong, attempting to flee the battle, executed on the spot. Seeing the fate of his fellow elders, the last elder had no choice but to sit back down. Such ruthless measures. The spectators also realized that the conflict had escalated to a critical stage. At this moment, a voice came from the flying chariot. Master Luo, why bother? The speaker was not Lu Zhou, but Zhou Jifeng, the former top disciple of Heaven's Sword sect. Luo Shinkong responded with a grim expression. Traitor. With a nod from Lu Zhou, Zhou Jifeng continued to speak. I need to clarify the facts to everyone. Hearing there was juicy gossip, the audience suddenly became more interested. The outcome of the fight wasn't as important anymore. Everyone pricked up their ears to listen to Zhou Jifeng, who had enough credibility as the former top disciple of Heaven's Sword sect. The disciples of Heaven's Sword sect burst out cursing. Zhou Jifeng, traitor of Heaven's Sword sect, you've joined Evil Sky Pavilion, and you still have the face to show up? Traitors should die. Luo Shinkong raised his head and said somberly, Zhou Jifeng, I truly regret not letting Changfeng kill you with a single strike. That's why you're still alive today. Zhou Jifeng furrowed his brows, trying to maintain a calm tone. Luo Changfeng trained me just to enhance his own cultivation realm. He killed my parents and insulted my family. How should we settle this account? No way. What a big reveal. Indeed, this trip was worth it. Zhou Jifeng continued loudly, my real surname is Jiang, from the Jiang family of East State. Hearing this, someone exclaimed in disbelief. The Jiang family? The Jiang family of East State, known for producing cultivation geniuses generation after generation. Zhou Jifeng originated from the Jiang family? How can you prove that? Zhou Jifeng said, I have a unique birthmark of the Jiang family on my body. My cultivation path aligns completely with Luo Changfeng's. In the nascent divinity tribulation realms, 3 major states, separation, mixing, and merging. Only union with the Tao can merge 2 into 1. After speaking, he took up his long sword and began to demonstrate. The sword flew around in all directions, and as primal energy surged, the sword above split into several shadows, eventually merging back into one. Indeed, it was Luo Changfeng's most skilled sword technique, which no one in Heaven's Sword sect had mastered, yet Zhou Jifeng had. Then, the sword landed on his own body, the shadow of the sword passing over him thousands of times, slicing his clothes apart to reveal his back. On his shoulder blade, there indeed was a narrow and unique birthmark. Someone in the audience recognized it. Indeed, that's a unique mark of the Jiang family. Whenever a new member is initiated, they are marked on the back, looking just like a birthmark, unmistakable. The Jiang family was annihilated overnight 30 years ago. It is said to have been the work of a master swordsman. From atop the flying chariot, Zhou Jifeng spoke loudly. The ones who slaughtered my family were not from Evil Sky Pavilion, but the so-called righteous Heaven's Sword sect under Luo Changfeng. Hearing this, the crowd became furiously agitated, spitting and cursing. Shame on you. Heaven's Sword sect is so despicable. It's an outrage against both man and gods, always claiming to be righteous, yet committing acts that outrage heaven and man. Luo Xingkong, I am truly embarrassed for you. If I were you, I'd find a secluded place and end myself. Luo Xingkong, furious, clenched his teeth so hard that he spat out a mouthful of blood. Seeing this, the people around laughed mockingly. Serves you right. It's what you deserve. Spitting blood is fitting. Ming Shirin, however, noticed something. The old man already had internal injuries. He doesn't seem to have long to live. No wonder he's so eager for revenge. Zhou Jifeng watched coldly. I didn't personally kill Luo Changfeng to avenge my family, so today I will kill you instead. With that, he swiftly controlled his long sword to slash towards Luo Xingkong. But after all, a skinny camel is still bigger than a horse. Even though Luo Xingkong was aggravated to the point of aggravating old injuries, he was not someone that Zhou Jifeng, a mere divine court realm cultivator, could easily bully. With just a slight lift of his hand, the flying sword inches away suddenly reversed direction, appearing in an instant below the flying chariot. Seeing this, Ming Shirin immediately deployed his 100 Tribulation Insight avatar, blocking all of Luo Xingkong's attacks, and scoffed coldly, your opponent is me. Luo Xingkong, barely containing his anger, glanced at Lu Zhou. You killed my son, so I will kill your disciple, which seems fair. Nourishing Origin Sword. With a loud shout, the chair behind him shattered into pieces from the forceful energy, and a banner pole immediately released a treasured sword. Some nearby recognized it as a quasi-celestial weapon. The sword forceful energy generated by the Nourishing Origin Sword rushed toward Ming Shirin like a storm. Ming Shirin retracted his avatar and plunged downwards, gripping the separation hook and approaching at high speed. This close combat strike is well executed, worthy of an Evil Sky Pavilion disciple, knowing to dodge the sharp edges and play to strengths. Luo Xingkong snorted coldly, blocking his attack. A mere one-leaf avatar, and you think you can contend with me? Ming Shirin laughed. Who told you I only have one leaf? Even if you have 2 leaves, so what? And who told you I only have 2 leaves? The spectators all widened their eyes in anticipation of the battle to come, but just then, Ming Shirin suddenly noticed that the green light circle on the ground lit up again. Another Buddhist clear mirror platform? Is there a Buddhist master nearby? The clear mirror platform, being a prearranged formation, can only be used a limited number of times. Continuous use would require a Buddhist master. Someone nearby is secretly aiding Heaven's Sword sect, so this is the confidence behind their challenge to a fight to the death? While Ming Shirin was contemplating, a voice reached the Lotus platform. If you can spare someone, spare them. The nearby spectators turned towards the sound, and gasps of surprise erupted. A nun from Cloud Illuminating Hermitage. More than 10 female monks bowed to the crowd. Cloud Illuminating Hermitage's humble nun Wu Nian. Greetings to all. With her arrival, the entire Lotus platform fell silent. With such support, the outcome of the battle was no longer clear. Wu Nian, a Buddhist monk who became famous 100 years ago and is the top master of Cloud Illuminating Hermitage. Who would have thought that Cloud Illuminating Hermitage would choose to assist Heaven's Sword sect? Hua Wudao turned to look at Lu Zhou, who was meditating with closed eyes, and called out, Pavilion Lord. Lu Zhou nodded and responded, understood. At that moment, Wu Nian quietly chanted a Buddhist mantra, then flicked her dust whisk towards Luo Xingkong, under whom a pale blue circle of light appeared. This is a Buddhist healing technique, Qi Hang Universal Salvation. Thank you, Buddhist monk, for your help. Luo Xingkong expressed his gratitude. Wu Nian nodded and turned to Ming Shirin, benefactor, I have been observing from afar for a long time. Heaven's Sword sect has suffered greatly, and Evil Sky Pavilion is bullying the weak, losing the demeanor of gentlemen. Ming Shirin laughed. Who are you talking about being a gentleman? I am not one. What's wrong with bullying the weak? Are you challenging me to a fight? He then looked up at his master. I freaking love this feeling of overpowering others. Benefactor, why speak so crudely? Justice lies within the heart of the people, and there is no smoke without fire. I cannot stand by and wish to discuss the reason behind this with you. Another one preaching morality? I only wish to pacify matters, not to worsen the situation. Ming Shirin scoffed mockingly. Why didn't you come out earlier? Are you running out now to protect your little darling? Wu Nian, a respected master in her own right, could not tolerate such an insult. She was about to get angry when Lu Zhou on the flying chariot also spoke up. Wu Nian. These 2 words, clear and reaching, echoed across the entire Lotus platform. platform. Wu Nian, the Buddhist monk, looked up slightly, her face showing a trace of surprise. Old benefactor? Seeing the old nun's disciple, Lu Zhou suddenly became interested. Do you recognize me? Wu Nian shook her head. This is our first meeting. How is Jing Nian doing lately? Old benefactor, do you know my master? Upon hearing this, Lu Zhou sighed deeply. A teacher's negligence breeds trouble. How could Jing Nian have a disciple who cannot discern right from wrong? Wu Nian was momentarily stunned. Why would old benefactor say this? I had hoped that by giving Jing Nian the Jade Whisk, she would concentrate on her cultivation and manage Cloud Illuminating Hermitage. Unfortunately, it seems I was mistaken. Seeing Wu Nian frozen in place, Luo Xingkong quickly interjected. Don't be misled by this old demon. Buddhist monk, help me. After speaking, he shouted at Lu Zhou. Old demon, do you think I am afraid? Lu Zhou, with an expressionless face, spoke in a deep voice. I had thought that as the former master of Heaven Sword Sect, you could distinguish between right and wrong and speak eloquently here on Lotus platform. But now I am deeply disappointed. You speak of righteousness and morality yet slaughter innocents. Proclaim yourself righteous while uttering vulgarities, and still you remain oblivious to your own failings. You have disgraced all previous leaders of Heaven Sword Sect. This statement hit hard, leaving Luo Xingkong extremely aggrieved. Ming Shirin added insult to injury. Little did you know, everyone already sees you as a laughingstock. With this remark, a roar of laughter erupted around Lotus platform. Someone shouted loudly, Luo Xingkong, despite living for hundreds of years, you can't even defeat someone else's disciple, and you still dare to challenge them. Truly shameless. This old villain overestimates himself. An old, weak body can only bark madly at the front lines. Utterly disgraceful. Luo Xingkong, unable to bear the insults, spat out a mouthful of blood as his blood roiled with frustration. Disciples of Heaven Sword Sect, concerned, quickly gathered around him. Seeing this, Wu Nian, the Buddhist monk, waved her whisk again to start healing. Unexpectedly, soon after the pale blue light touched Luo Xingkong, he spat out another mouthful of fresh blood. Ming Shirin smirked. This is anger backfiring. Qi Hang Universal Salvation, if used to heal him now, will only hasten his death. Hearing this, Wu Nian hastily retracted the Jade Whisk and instructed her companions to start chanting the calming heart spell. Ming Shirin continued to taunt, old thief, stop pretending. Why bother? Why live on only to face the world's scorn? Luo Xingkong was gasping heavily, shaking with rage. Death ends all troubles. No more worries. Hear me out. It's time for you to go. Anyway, you can't compete with my master. This way, you will be the first opponent to be angered to death by Evil Sky Pavilion. Quite an honor. Hearing this, Luo Xingkong's rage surged, and a great deal of blood spurted from his mouth. His primal energy chaotically exploded within his meridians, and then he slumped over, dead. Everyone was stunned by this scene, and Lotus platform fell deathly silent. The 10 nuns stopped chanting the calming heart spell. Ming Shirin innocently shrugged. Don't look at me. What does it have to do with me? I was just kindly advising him. Wu Nian sighed softly and chanted, Amitba. Harsh words freeze harder than winter frost. I did my best. Just as she was about to lead her companions away, Lu Zhou spoke up. You can't leave. Wu Nian sensed trouble at these words. Duan Musheng, understanding the cue, hurled his overlord spear. Wrapped in forceful energy, the spear's tip pierced the sky, glowing as it arched and embedded itself in the marble floor 3 meters in front of Wu Nian. Little Yuaner also threw her weapon. The red Brahma heaven silk expanded, encircling the nuns. Ming Shirin, smiling, also moved to block their path. Wu Nian, feeling threatened, exclaimed, Amitba, old benefactor, what is the meaning of this? Lu Zhou, looking down from above, said coldly, leave the Jade Whisk, disable your cultivation, then you may leave. Wu Nian frowned deeply, and after a moment of silence, she asked, old benefactor, there is no feud between Cloud Illuminating Hermitage and Evil Sky Pavilion. Why target me? Lu Zhou shook his head and sighed. Did Jing Nian really not mention anything to you? Wu Nian felt confused upon hearing this. Her intuition told her that the master of Evil Sky Pavilion aboard the flying chariot had some special connection with her master, Jing Nian. Yet, having been raised in Cloud Illuminating Hermitage and taught by Jing Nian for over 100 years, she had never heard her master mention Evil Sky Pavilion. Old benefactor, I am confused. Please enlighten me. Lu Zhou, tired of talking, uttered coldly, nonsense.